So getting ready for Texas A&M. They're 7-1 in their last 8. Obviously, got off to a great start in the league, undefeated till they went to Rupp on Saturday. Big, strong, physical team. One of the best rebounding teams in the country. We've got 3 or 4 great offensive rebounding teams in our league, and they rank up right there with any of them, Tennessee or Kentucky. The guards are great rebounders. Their bigs are big, strong, and physical, they're hard to keep off the boards. They're very athletic. They got great driving downhill guards that get to the rim and score, big and strong and physical. And they get to the foul line. 4th in the nation, number 1 in our league in free throws attempted and free throws made, so just like we talked about, Mississippi State when they came in, that was going to be a real physical game. This will be even more physical. So that's going to be something that we'll have to obviously step up to. And then the last thing would be, they're giving up in league play 30 points a half. So sometimes, teams go in and you've only scored 30 points at halftime. Well, join the club because that's what they give up, which puts a lot of pressure on our defense. Our defense has been good, been consistently pretty good. But that's going to be something that we're going to have to do a really good job of, is guarding them, because we'll have our challenges scoring.
Questions? Tom?
Bruce, you talked a lot about the importance of history and making history here, but to now have the nation's longest active home winning streak of 28 games, what does that mean to you guys?
Well, I think that making history over a number of years is impactful. That's part of what you're trying to do with a program or a university and teams and everything. Obviously, it speaks to the jungle and the incredible support. It speaks to the sellouts and the Auburn family's commitment and the great environment. But that environment's not going to rebound for us, and it's not going to make shots, and so we're going to have, obviously, we'll have to continue to be playing our better and better. But I'm obviously proud of what the guys have done, and the position that we put ourselves in. We put ourselves in position once again to compete at the highest level, and that's all you can ask for. There are a lot of teams here at the end of January that aren't really playing for much. We're still in this thing.
Right.
Coach, you identified rebounding as something, you mentioned how Texas A&M is a really good rebounding team, but offensively, what do you make of Wendell Green's kind of resurgence offensively and his playmaking ability kind of stepping up the last few games?
Yeah, Wendell, he's demonstrated he's one of the best point guards in the country, and he certainly played like that, in the last 5 games or so. Buzz Williams will make sure, I'm certain that he gets plenty of their attention, and my guess is they'll do what they need to try to do to make other guys beat us, because Wendell's been so consistent, both from a playmaking standpoint as well as a shooting standpoint, making plays defensively, and so it's been fun to watch, for us to continue to be successful, we need to continue to play at that level.
Bruce, hope you're doing well today. Good to see you. When you look at this team, when you guys lost that game in Athens to where you are now, what is the biggest difference from that game over the last 5 games?
Well, with the exception of the Mississippi State game, we've done a better job of taking care of the ball. That's probably one of the biggest things, is just not turning it over as easily, and as a result, creating easy offense for our opponent. We struggled in that game with the double team, and I don't have the stat sheet in front of me. My guess, we turned it over a bunch. We turned it over a bunch against Mississippi State, but we survived it. I think the other games, I bet you, were averaging about 10 in those other games, and that's been the biggest thing, is just take care of the ball. So who gets credit for it? Obviously Wendell and Trey getting us into something, but guys like KD or Al that are playing under control and playing with effectively, and so that would probably be the biggest reason for some of our offensive efficiencies.
Bruce, do you have an update on Chris Moore? And are you going to stick to the casual look or try to match Buzz with the 3-piece suit?
No, I coached in suits for, how many years I've been in coaching, Marlene? Well, let's say this. So you guys do it. So 1982 was my first.
41.
Okay, thank you. So for 40 years or so, I coached in the suit and tie, and infamously sweated through a bunch of suits, and I'm glad to be able to coach in that in a golf shirt, or let me just say, in a coaching shirt.
And Chris Moore.
Chris did a little bit more in practice yesterday than he's been doing, and it'll be probably a game time decision. But he's getting closer.
Bruce, last week you were talking about getting off to quicker starts, especially in SEC play. You guys did that on offense last couple games. What has kind of been the difference to that, or guys execute better?
I mean, it helps. I mean, it really helps. It helps it certainly helps on the road, getting off to good stats. It's again, it's a matter of taking care of the ball. Obviously, getting some stops, and again, probably on the road and against the best teams on your schedule, which we're certainly fixing to see.
The Johan played pretty well last game. Is he gaining some confidence, and can he help you guys a good bit going forward?
I think what I told everybody the other day. I said, here's what everybody's job is. This is everybody's job. Everybody's job is to get better. I'm talking to my managers, I'm talking to my coaches, and I'm talking to my players. What does that look like for you, each and every one of us? Your job is to get better through this season. In the weight room, individual workouts, with your play, with what my coaches are doing, game planning. Our job is to get better. And then our second job is to try to win while we're trying to get better. For everybody on the staff and everybody in the program. To win, Janai Broom's got to do some things differently than Dylan Caldwell has to do for us to win, playing the same position. So, Yo's been practicing better. He's been more active in practice. He's continuing to learn and get better. And, the better he plays, the more he will help us win. You make a couple shots and you feel good about it. But it doesn't necessarily, his making a couple shots doesn't necessarily help make us win. It makes him feel better that he made a few shots, which is great, because then maybe he'll continue to rebound better or defend better, or But we're playing 10 or 11 guys, and our strength has been our depth, and so it's great to see guys being able to step up and contribute, get better, and help us win.
Does that apply to the beat writers too?
It applies to the coaches. I don't know. I worry about what I can control.
Advise you got one last question.
Yes, Bruce, one thing about the team is you tend to be very athletic. How does a trainer like Damon help out with your athleticism as well as just the guys staying healthy and everything?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a tremendous task between Clark Pearson, our trainer, and Damon Davis, our strength coach. Those guys, the prehab that goes into, getting the guys physically ready to go. The balance between doing enough in practice to be right and ready without getting guys, killed in practice and hurt. But it can happen. It happens. To not overtrain, but to have them ready. And I do, I think we do the best job we know how to do to get the guys physically ready, mentally ready, spiritually ready. And certainly working with, it's quite a partnership, what we have to do on a day off, what we have to do 2 days prior to a game, day before the game, all that is pretty coordinated between myself and the staff.
Last question for you.
Chris, you've talked about that 2 position with Zep and Katie, maybe not scoring a bunch, but still helping you guys win a lot. I was going to ask a little bit more about just what have those guys done specifically to help y'all out when they're not necessarily shooting them? Yeah, no, it's, the whole 3-and-D, concept, that clearly as 2 guards or as wings, you'd love for them to be able to be shooting, shoot the ball with a better, continue to shoot the ball better, right? And we've seen them both make shots, and we've obviously seen them both guard, and they both got very low turnover numbers, which is really, really good. So again, if our 2s could make another shot or 2 a game, continue to defend like they're defending, continue to keep their turnovers down, we can be really, really effective at the position. And I think you can see that they're really they're not forcing the issue. But it'd be great for all of our guys. Look, for us to be able to continue to win, we've got to be able to make open shots. Texas A&M is really hard to score in the paint. They're hard to score at in the paint because they rotate bodies, and they're very physical, and they use verticality to their advantage. And so you got to be able to make some open shots.